Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Today I'm going to talk about geography, very interesting subject, and a subject that has a very long history, in fact. So it is one of the most oldest of the sciences, and this branch of science, geography, have in fact given rise to other branches of science. Let us see, and today we'll talk about basics in the geography. The deeper we look into the nature, the more we recognize that it is full of life. And more profoundly, we know that we all are all united to this. So the deeper we look into the nature, we recognize that it is full of life, and the more profoundly we know that we are all united to all this life. That's a very important saying by Albert Schweitzer. So you can say that everyone is connected, or the whole planet and every living organism within the planet is connected to one another. In geography, we study about the planet Earth. This is an overview of the chapter, the nature of geography, evolution of the discipline, some basics, concepts, themes and standards, and then maps and cartography, which is a very important branch of geography. The study of interaction of all physical and human phenomena at individual places and of how interactions among places form patterns and organize space. So this is very important concept that we study in geography. Human and physical interactions at individual places and how these interactions develop different patterns and organize space. So space and time is very important in geography. Space and time perspective is the one that we study in geography. So geographers apply the spatial perspective, whereas historians apply the time perspective. So this is a basic relationship between geography and the history. So when we talk about spatial, we are talking about space and time. Okay, for maximum understanding, the geographer must also be aware of the time perspective and vice versa. So I already told the word spatial itself means space and time. So in geography, both space and time plays a very important role, and it is very important to have space and time, to study space and time together. What do geographers look for? They look for distributions, how different continents are distributed or how different places are distributed, how much are the distance between different places, different areas, in which directions they are present, north, south, east, west, okay. The shapes and forms, what kind of shapes or forms, in which shape or forms they are present, or what are the patterns that we see, what are the patterns that we see in the globe, the global patterns that we talk about, the different phenomena that occur in the globe, how the weather occurs, how the climate behaves, okay. So patterns of rainfall, patterns of climate, patterns of cloud, patterns of wind. So these are very important that we study in geography. Location, direction, and distance. Three very important phenomena that are the key to geography. So location tells us about the location of a place or exact coordinates of a place as you find by using your GPS. So it tells about the location. Then it also tells about the direction, which direction it is present, north, south, east, or west. And then the distance, so how much kilometers or miles it is present from one area to another area, or any reference point that you take. So distance comes into play. How much miles or kilometers that place is from the area of your reference. Size and scale, very, very important, because in geography we develop maps, so we draw maps, and size and scale plays a very important role, because in maps we always use a certain scale to describe the distance so that we can understand. Similarly, the size also comes into play. So these are basically geographical concepts that we'll be studying in upcoming lectures, and we'll be talking more about these in detail. Physical and cultural attributes of a place, Is it a plain area, or is it having mountains, or do we have lakes, or we have ponds? So physical characteristics, or and the cultural attributes. What kind of culture of people are present there? What are their culture? What are their norms? What are their values? Okay, attributes of place are always changing. It's a dynamic reality. We know that people, whenever they are present at certain place, they are continuously modifying the area. They are continuously modifying the place. So it's always a changing reality. Interaction between places. So there is always interaction between places and place, similarity and regions. So this is again a very key important concept that we study in geography. So we have different regions of the world. We have regions where there is a very dry climate or arid region. Then we have regions where we have continuously rainfall. So we have tropical regions. Okay, so we divide again the earth into different regions depending on the climate, or you can say sometimes we also divide it on political regions. So it's a political region with certain political background. So there are again different classifications, but all these we will study in the upcoming lectures. Systematic perspective, physical geography and the human geography. I told you, if we talk about geography, these are two major branches of geography: physical and the human subdivision, or human and cultural perspective. So these are the two major branches that we study in geography. Physical talks about the physical features of the planet Earth, of the globe, and human geography talks about the human interaction and the human phenomena like culture, like development, okay, like population. And again, we also study regional perspectives when we talk about different regions on a large scale. So tools of geography, cartography, tools and means of expression, or cartography is this, basically science of mapping. So that comes under cartography. We develop maps, and it's a very interesting science. How we develop maps, how we develop scale, on what size we develop maps, so on and so forth. And then, as we know, with the advancement of science, we now have GIS, Geographical Information System, and this is very important. In fact, now GIS has application in almost in every field of science. And the GPS that we have in our cell phones, they use this technology. Global Positioning System is basically application of the GIS. So that's because we use the satellite and we get the Global Positioning System by the Geographical Information System. So it's a big science, and a lot of work is going on in this GIS. And in fact, now wherever the maps are developed in the now they are using this GIS information. Now they are using this technology of geographical information technology, and they are developing maps. For example, the one that we use, Google Maps, so that is an application of GIS that we daily almost use when we are moving from one place, or when we are commuting, or moving from one place to another. So the major subdivisions I told: physical geography and human geography. Physical geography talks about origin, nature of continents, landforms, nature of oceans, climates past and present, rivers, glaciers, soils, animals, and plants. So you can see in physical geography, all the physical phenomena are studied. How different continents are there, landforms are present on different continents. What are the region and nature of oceans? What was the climate in the past? What's the climate today? Rivers, glaciers, soil, animals, plants, all the physical features, physical attributes of the planet. When we talk about human geography, we talk about growth, distribution, population. Very interesting topic. And population is a topic of very much topic of my interest. So I will be sharing a lot about population in upcoming lectures. And in fact, there are a couple of lectures on population as well on my channel as well. So nature of cities, how cities are developed, what are different attributes of different cities, what is a megapolis, what is a metropolis, so on and so forth. Communication networks, how we have in the today's globalized world, location of businesses and industries, urbanization, urban centers, growth and collapse of empires and nations, spread of culture, trade, technology, trends and styles, religion, and ideologies. So human geography is again a very interesting branch of geography, and in fact, in our subject, we will be having more focus on human geography in the upcoming lectures. Geography is broad and interrogative, so you can see geography tries to focus on the whole picture. It tells us about the whole picture. It draws upon almost every academic discipline seeking patterns and connections. So you can see life sciences, physical sciences, social sciences, physical geography and human geography, and then you can see the cartography and the regional geography. So that's what I was discussing earlier. So it encompasses every field of science. It gives you a holistic picture. It gives you a broad perspective. The geography, human geography, physical geography, so, and it encompasses all the sciences. So this is just a basically the total display of that. And again, if you see the bottom, you can see the further divisions, systematic fields in human geography, cultural geography, demography, historical geography, political geography, economic geography. And if you see the physical geography, you can see the biogeography, geomorphology, climatology, so on and so forth. So this is again as a mother of many sciences. Geography was basically one of the most oldest sciences, and it gave branch, it gave offshoots, different branches of science. And here, this is a very good again picture showing different branches of science that originated from geography itself. People as well as academic disciplines have different perspectives, and that is what we will be studying in geography. So these are these three different students, and you can see for some it's the city or urbanized life that is more interesting or entertaining or something that is a dream. For some, it's the nature. For some, it's their farm on which they work. So people have different perspective of different areas or places, and they have different interests or different aspirations. So we talk about the wonders of geography, and we'll be studying that in the coming lectures. Geography begins with questions: where, why, when, and who. So it's basically natural human inquisitiveness. So basically, humans have this capacity, the curiosity. Human curiosity plays a very important role in geography. And thinking geographically is one of the most oldest human activities. Perhaps the first geographer was prehistoric human who crossed a river or climbed a hill and observed what was on the other side. Returned home to tell about it and scratched the root in a dirt. That's how we see geography started. So it started with the observation. When people or person moved from one area to another area, be it the crossing a river or climb a hill or passing through a forest or anything. Perhaps the second geographer was the friend of relative who followed the dirt map to reach the other place. That was how it is said geography started. Okay, so the reference also given from where I have just taken it out. Ancient civilizations empire made maps. We see that we have the old, very old maps that we found in different libraries, or if we find talk about human civilization, we will always find maps at different places in libraries or even in different archaeological sites. You can find maps drawn by people at that time, so as to help each other to go to a certain place or to go or to have a food source or water source. So they developed these kind of crude maps initially, and that the maps also tells us a lot about our history. So Greek philosophy, the word geography itself is a Greek word. Geo means earth, and graphy means to write about this stuff. Why things are where they are, why they are the way they are, cautions and conclusions. Okay, so why they are present, what are the reasons, what are the causes of their uh, presence, why they are, why different phenomena occur, why different patterns are there, so on and so forth. What are the causes? And we'll be studying about causes and conclusions in again upcoming lectures. So this is the history of geography, the classical Western world. We can say older geographers that have contributed to this field. And one of the two very important names are here from the classical Western world. And aside from Western world, non-European world, non-Western world have also contributed a lot. In fact, in our perspective, if we talk about, Ibn Battuta has a lot of role to play. He was a very good geographer. He went to different areas. He was a very good explorer, and he was always going and studying. And then Ibn Khaldun has a lot of role to play. It's a very good Muslim historian, Ibn Khaldun, and also because he also discovered different areas and he went. And in fact, Ibn Khaldun is one of the person who is in fact the pioneer in talking about evolution, way before Darwin. Ibn Khaldun, if you study Ibn Khaldun, so he have talked about evolution way much earlier than Darwin. And so a lot of contribution have been by the non-Western world as well. Even in astronomy, Muslims have played a role, and we always talk about that. The name of the planets that we see, the planet's name is Arabic because Muslims were the one who worked in this domain, and they were the one who discovered the planets. Okay, so they were the one, and so they named the planets on Arabic names. Mercury, Venus. So there was basically Atarad, Sahra, Marikh. These are Arabic names. And now we see we have the English version of those. So general geography since 1400s, how it flourished. Spatial geography, general geography, talking about regional geography, topical systematic geography. So that's how initially it started. Physical geography was the first branch or major branch, and then after that, uh, human geography also came into play, and man and nature talk about, and a lot of work and you can say studies starting about man and nature, how humans interact with the environment, with the nature, and what how humans change and modify different shapes. So this is it at the moment, and my lectures are already on environmental determinism and possibilisms. Possibilisms, that's two very important theories, and do watch those lectures, and we will be discussing. In fact, in that lecture on environmental determinism and possibilism, I have given a very broad perspective of both of these theories, and this is still a very good debate that's going on in the world, and it's very interesting to talk about environmental determinism and the possibilism. So this is it at the moment, and I hope in the upcoming lectures we will talk about these phenomena and basic concepts in more detail. Thank you very much.